In the first letter to the Thessalonians, Paul writes, "Now, brothers and sisters, about times and dates we do not need to write to you, for you know very well that the day of the Lord will come like a thief in the night. While people are saying peace and safety, destruction will come on them suddenly, and they will not escape. For you, brothers and sisters, are not in darkness, so that this day should surprise you like a thief. You are all children of the light and children of the day. We do not belong to the night or to the darkness. So then, let us not be like others who are asleep, but let us be awake and sober." What about the kingdom of God, they ask. How do we know that it is there? And Paul, when will it come? The Christians of Thessalonica ask that. We are waiting for it, they say. We are waiting for Jesus to come again. We are waiting for the world to finally change, completely and fully. When at last, Paul? We are waiting. And they had to wait a long time, for nothing happened. The kingdom of God did not begin, and Jesus did not return. Instead, they get a letter from Paul. "Now, brothers and sisters, about times and date, we do not need to write to you, for you know very well that the day of the Lord will come like a thief in the night." I do not know, writes Paul, and you don't need to know either. Yes, actually, that is completely the wrong question. Time and again, people have tried to interpret the signs of the times. When solar and lunar eclipses occurred, earthquakes and other forces of nature, they said, "There it is, the kingdom of God. It is coming." And they were wrong. Others looked into the Bible and the scriptures and tried to find out where there was any correspondence. And they said, "In the world right now, this or that is happening, and in the Bible we find this or that, and that means the following." Mostly it was the feeling that everything in the world is getting very bad and some kind of immorality is big, and that is supposed to be a sign that the Antichrist is there and that the coming of Christ is not far off too. But that's not true. For, first of all, not everything is getting worse. Neither the world nor the people. That is an illusion and a transfiguration of the past. And secondly, I hear Paul again telling us, "Now, brothers and sisters, about times and dates we do not need to write to you, for you know very well that the day of the Lord will come like a thief in the night." You do not know it beforehand, and you do not recognize it beforehand. And the Bible is certainly not meant to give you a secret knowledge about the course of the world, about times and dates. It tells us nothing about that at all. Paul tells us two things. First, you do not know the time, and you do not need to know it. For secondly, you do not live in darkness, but in the light. You do know that. Even if sometimes you don't notice it in the world, because sometimes it's quite dark. You live in the light. You do know that. Even if you sometimes don't notice it in your life, because it doesn't look so bright and shiny, but rather gray and dim, you live in the light. Actually, darkness has no power of itself. Darkness is actually absence. Darkness is where there is no light. And the other way around, where there is light, darkness becomes weaker and less powerful. If you turn on the light, or if you light a candle, you see what's going on. The world takes on contours, and you recognize things. Sometimes it's the same in life. There are dark times and light times. Sometimes you see everything very clearly, the direction you want to go and what's keeping you going. And other times you have to squint your eyes together and still get only a vague idea. Or it suddenly becomes quite gloomy, when worries darken your life, or a farewell plunges everything into blackness. Or everything becomes bright and you know what you want and should do. And most of the time it's probably somewhere in between. You're all children of the light and children of the day, writes Paul, because Jesus is there. The light is there. And therefore, you do not have to say, someday when the kingdom of God comes, everything will be fine. The world is already not without light. And neither is your life. The light comes from God. It is not there because life would suddenly become completely bright. It's not that simple after all. It is there because of Jesus. Because God says, I love this world. That is why I sent Jesus, the light. It didn't just shine in life, where everything is reasonably clear anyway, but also in death. In the last, the great darkness. That's where the light went in and shines there. And that is why it is never completely dark again in life or in death. We do not belong to the night or to the darkness. So then let us not be like others who are asleep, but let us be awake and sober, writes Paul. Being awake means living as if it were a bright day, with a clear head and clear hope, so that the light shines through us as best as we can. As if the world were already bright, as if we already see everything clearly, as best we can. Let us live as if it was bright day, because of Jesus, because of God, because of the love this world needs. Amen.